guys, welcome back to another video. Now in today's video we are going to be discussing something really important, especially if you are somebody who is a healthcare professional and is planning to come and work in the UK as a healthcare professional. For those of you out there who do not know this already, HCPC, which is the Healthcare Professionals Council in the UK, is going to be issuing and releasing many updates and changes over the next few months. Some of these have been revealed already, but some haven't. And if you are somebody who is interested in working in the UK as a healthcare professional, I would recommend that you absolutely follow my YouTube channel, because this is where you will get loads of updates. And for those of y'all who haven't already followed me on Instagram, my handle is Physiotherapy in UK. But in today's video, we will be discussing some of the most key changes in the course information form. And if you are confused about what is the course information form, what are the documents you need to be looking at, definitely go and check out this video where you'll find the information about what documents you need to submit along with your HCPC application. But like I explained before, the HCPC is updating its course information form, and in today's video I will be showing you exactly how you can fill the course information form in its newest version. So do watch this video all the way to the end, guys.
So here we are on the actual sort of page where you will find the course information form. Now, for those of you who are confused about where you are going to find this form, I'm going to leave the link for this in the description box below, just so that you know where you're going to sort of find your HCPC application and the updated course information form. But let's just talk to a few bits that are really important and relevant before we actually go on to the form. So as you can see over here, it just says that you need to provide us with relevant details of relevant professional qualification, which first enable you to practice your profession outside the UK. So this can be your bachelor's certificate, your degree certificate, or even your diploma certificate, if that is what has helped you to sort of start practicing as a physiotherapist, occupational therapist, radiologist in your own countries, that is in India, Pakistan, or Bangladesh. Now, what you need to remember is that in relation to your primary qualifications, say, for example, I'm a physiotherapist and I used my Bachelor's of Physiotherapy certificate to start working in the UK, then what I need to provide is my completed HCPC course information form for my bachelor's, and I need to provide a certified copy of my professional qualification certificate, which is my degree certificate. Now, again, what you need to remember is that if you hold more than one qualification which has enabled you to first practice, please complete a separate course information form for each degree. So, for example, if you've completed your bachelor's and your master's in physiotherapy, you will need to provide a course information form for both your bachelor's and your master's. So be mindful of this, guys, before you submit your course information form, that you will need a course information form for every degree that you've submitted in relation to your application. Now, coming down to, again, another important point about when will this course information form start being used by the HCPC. So as of right now, HCPC will continue to accept all of the old course information forms until the 1st of September 2023. So from the 1st of September 2023, you will have to submit the new form. Now, again, before you sort of move ahead with asking your university or your college to fill out the course information form, HCPC has given you some really clear guidelines that I recommend all of you sort of read through and follow, especially because if you do not follow these guidelines while you fill out your applications, it's going to be really hard for HCPC to accept them. And it most likely will be that HCPC comes back to you requesting you to resubmit a particular document or resubmit your course information form, which is not really ideal because it will delay your process, especially of getting the HCPC.
Now, for those of you who are concerned about finding a job in the UK as a healthcare professional, or maybe even making your HCPC application or clearing an interview that you have landed recently, do not stress, because I do one-to-one sessions with each and every one of you so that you will be able to access your dreams of coming into the UK really easily. So if you have any questions or would like to book a one-to-one session, please do not forget to check out the description below where you will find the link for my website.
Now, as you can see right here, this is exactly where you will find your new course information form for download. So once you've sort of gotten this form, you can click for download and this sort of file will pop up right here. All you need to do is click on download the file and the file gets downloaded for you. You can then sit and edit this document within Word.
Now, if there are any of y'all out there who are potentially looking at coming into the UK and studying within the September 2023's intake, you would know that it's been really hard to find accommodation in the UK. If you are one of those people who are struggling to find accommodation within your budget, I would highly recommend using Amber Student, because they are one of the few people that I found who will help you to find budget accommodation within each and every place in the UK depending on your university, and I highly recommend that you go through them because they have some really good options for you. And if you would like to do so, do not forget to check out the description box below, because there you will find the link for them, which I definitely recommend, guys. So do not forget to check them out or give them a shout on their social media platforms.
So now we've come to the Word document where you can sit and edit the course information form. Now, as you can see, this form was published in July 2023. So that is right now today. But this form, like I said before, can be used from today or from the 1st of September 2023. So if you are somebody who is in the process of making an HCPC application and you've not yet submitted it and you've got your university to sign or stamp on the old course information form, you are still allowed to use it provided you make an application before the 1st of September 2023. If you make an application after the 1st of September 2023, you will have to make sure that you submit the new course information form, which is what we're discussing now in this video. Now, as a part of this form, I've highlighted some of the most key important bits that I think a lot of y'all are going to need. However, remember, the highlighted bits are the ones that I have done on the form. This is not what you will find on the actual form itself. So when you sort of scroll down to it, the first thing that you need to remember is that in this bit over here, where they say that they want the course administrator signature, you need to provide a written signature. So that is, somebody should have signed it by pen or an electronic copy of the written signature. So somebody should have pasted a PDF or a small picture of it. They do not accept typed signatures into this form. So say for example, somebody has typed their name just saying Nikita, that would not be accepted. They need a signature in a written format, so by hand or an electronic copy of it. So let's just see what else do we need to fill in this form. So some of the other important things are obviously your name, the institution that you did it from, and the address for it. You also need to provide the institutional address again. Sometimes if your institution is different, this address might look a little different, but it's fine for it to be the same. Again, another thing that you might need to do is provide the institution who's providing you the qualification. You need to provide their name and address. For example, in my case, it was the same thing. So I would literally copy the same bit of information right here into this box. The next thing is they're asking you what qualification were you given. Now, this is obviously bachelor's for physiotherapy in my case. What was the date when it was awarded? So you want to put in the date. When did your study commence? So that would probably be when you started your course, and that's the date you want to sort of put in. They will also ask you when you completed your course. Now, for most of us, it might potentially be the date we complete our internships on, especially because we're in India and we might have up to 6 to 7 months of internship that we need to complete as a mandatory requirement for a course. Now, again, for some of y'all who have completed internship as a part of your degree certificate, it might just mean that you use the date when you finish studying your course as the date that you completed your study. The other bits of information that you need to provide are the course administrator's name and the email address for the course administrator. So whatever is the name of this person, whether it is XYZ or whatever else it might be, you need to provide the name, and you also need to provide the email address. Remember that you always want to provide the official email address for the institution and not a personal one. So I recommend never using your Yahoo or Gmail IDs as a part of the HCPC form, but always use your organizational or institutional email IDs whenever you're submitting this. The other thing that you need to do is always provide the signature. Now, like I said, this is again in handwritten signature or an electronic copy of the handwritten signature. And also what they need you to do is provide the date when this was potentially signed. Now, the most important thing and something that you should definitely not forget is the institution seal or stamp. So please get your university or college to place their institutional seal or stamp on this document. Now, moving on to some of the other bits. This is a lot of information that HCPC has provided to you. I would recommend definitely taking some time out and reading this as a guideline to knowing what you need to use under which heading in the form. But what we're going to do is we're also sort of going to look at how do we fill the form. So as you can see right here, this is section 2A. Now in section 2A, they ask you to complete a list of courses completed in your qualification. So say for example, I have completed anatomy. I will write the subject anatomy over here. It is asking me for which year I completed it in. So I completed anatomy in year 1 in my bachelor. So that's exactly what I'm going to write. And they are asking me if it was the learning that was undertaken at the delivery of the institution. And the answer to this is yes. So this is exactly how you will end up filling. Now, for example, the second thing could be physiology, because the second subject I studied was physiology. Again, I did it in year 1 and I did the learning in the institution where I was taught. So again, I'm going to type yes. Similarly, you want to sort of fill out the rest of the bits for this document. Now, again, another question you might have is, Nikita, there are only 12 rows. What if I have more subjects? What if, I reach year 5 or year 4 and I have more subjects? The easiest thing you can do is insert a row. So you want to click on this and you want to say insert a row below. And say, for example, here you will put the number 13 and say my subject was maybe neurophysiotherapy. So that's what I'm going to write over here. Again, I did this in maybe year 4. And again, was the learning undertaken at the institution? And I will say yes. So this is how you can potentially add extra rows and columns to this particular table, just so that you can write all of the information. What I would recommend is obviously going in year wise. So always complete year 1, followed by year 2, followed by year 3, and finally coming down to year 4. Now, another question that gets popped on very regularly on my YouTube channel, and this is something I think I need to address at this stage, is what about some of the other subjects that might be included? For example, obviously, I have studied Bachelor's of Physiotherapy at an undergraduate level, and I've had anatomy and physiology as some of my main subjects in year 1. But there might be some other subjects such as psychology or sociology, which was a subsidiary subject, or with basic nursing, which might be a subsidiary subject. Do you need to include any of those? And the answer to this is yes, you do need to include these as a part of the courses completed in your qualification, because these would be on the syllabus copy. Which brings me to another important point, and that is whenever you are trying to find information for your course information form, I would always recommend that you go back to your syllabus copy, because that is exactly where you're going to find all of this information that I have been talking about. So go back to your universities or your colleges syllabus copy to get all of this information. And please do not forget to include some of the other subjects or the subsidiary subjects that have been involved in your qualification. Now, moving forward to the other bits is learning outcomes. So as you can see over here, that they would like you to identify some of the learning outcomes that have been achieved by you on completion of all of the courses elements. Now, this was just the learning outcome for my sort of course while I was studying within my university or within my college. And obviously, this can be really different based on wherever you are. So I would say really go ahead and look at your syllabus copies before you make a decision on what goes within your learning outcomes. But let's come to the most important bit, and this is detailed information about each course completed in the qualification. Now, again, please remember when they say course, they do not mean your degree. They literally mean the subject or the module that you have completed at an undergraduate level. So for example, it says over here that as per section 2A, I need to give a number to this particular topic or this particular subject or module that I have completed. Now we're going to go back to 2A, and as you can see over here, number 1 is anatomy. So as number 1 is anatomy over here, I'm going to use the same number over here, and I'm going to say, because number 1 was anatomy, I'm going to write the course name or the subject name as anatomy. Now, it further goes on to ask me how I have been assessed within this particular course, whether it was a verbal assessment, a written assessment, or a practical assessment. And that's exactly what I'm going to write. For the written bit, I had 100 marks. For the verbal bit, I had 30 marks. And for the practical bit, I had 50 marks. So this is what you want to write over here in terms of your assessments. How were you assessed? for each individual subject or for each individual module. Now, it then goes on to again ask you about what were some of the learning outcomes that were achieved. Again, I would say that you should write each of the learning outcomes for every individual subject, because this is what HCPC has added into this form, especially because they want to find out what was it that your university or that your college expected out of you when they were trying to suggest that you study a particular subject. So this is my learning outcome for anatomy. Now, moving on ahead, it asks me what is my course content and was there any practice-based learning undertaken? And this is exactly what I've gone on to say. So as you can see over here, I've split it up. So I've said that, okay, I've studied theory and then I might have studied practical as well as a part of my course or as a part of my syllabus in year 1. Now, as you can see over here, I've again split it up into several different bits, but this is all come from my syllabus. So I would again recommend that you go back to your syllabus and see what it is that you are needing to write within this information over here. So again, as you can see, we have written several different things, including musculoskeletal anatomy, upper extremity, lower extremity, neuroanatomy. And as you can see, that is the sort of end of my theory. Now we then come down to what is the practical element that I completed as a part of my syllabus or as a part of my year 1 study within anatomy. So this is the practical element of my education within year 1 in anatomy. Also, there is a list of demonstrations. So what were the list of demonstrations that I had completed as a part of my anatomy? And as you can see over here, these are some of the important demonstrations or the practical elements that I completed as a part of year 1. Now, moving ahead, they've further gone on to ask you, what were your learning hours? So how many hours did you spend as a part of this course within your university? So as you can see over here very clearly, my syllabus broke it down and said I completed a total of 240 hours in anatomy, out of which 150 hours in the year were theory and 90 hours were practical. It has also gone down to break it in terms of weekly basis. But I would suggest if you don't have any of this information, that's fine. Even if you suggest the total number of hours and the split between theory and practical, you should be all right. Now, this sort of similar thing that we did for anatomy, we would be expected to do for all of your further subjects. So, for example, the second subject that I had included in section 2A was physiology. And that's exactly what I will be filling up my form for from here on. Now, you will similarly go on to do this for the third subject, fourth subject, fifth subject, and so on. Now, once you've sort of completed maybe subject number 12 and you still have more information to fill, what I would say is if you just copy all of this table and number 12 and then maybe just copy it here, and then you can change this to 13 and keep adding your subjects as they sort of keep going on through the years. Again, like I said before, please include all of the subjects that you've studied at university level, whether it is undergraduate or postgraduate for this form, because HCPC wants to figure out if you've completed all of the essential requirements before you submit this form.
So guys, I hope that was useful for you. And if you like this video, do not forget to give it a like. But definitely stay in touch. Take care guys, and hope you fill out those HCPC applications and come to the UK soon. Bye.